So last week I asked you guys what is an album that is a 10 out of 10, no skips, and I got quite a few comments. Let's go through them all. But my suggestion for this is an album called The Body of the Life Force by Afro Ra. It is just a really fun hip hop record to listen to. Just a really chilled, fun album to listen to if you're into hip hop. Give it a listen and let's get into your suggestions. Okay, so one of my loyal viewers, Microwave, has said OK Computer by Radiohead. Now, I think everyone can agree this is one of the most influential and pivotal records in music history, but is it a 10 out of 10? I think we should give it a listen. Look, it is one of the most creative albums ever made. However, there are some songs on here that most people don't know about, a lot of Radiohead fans don't know about. Everyone knows about Karma Police, they know about Paranoid Android, they know about Exit Music for a Film. But if you ask someone how does the song The Tourist go, or Climbing Up the Walls, or Electioneering, they might not be able to sing it to you. I know Letdown has gotten big on TikTok recently, and so it should, because it is a really good song. But is it a 10 out of 10? I'm going to rate these albums on a good or bad index, either 10 out of 10 or try it again. And with this one, I'm going to go try it again. Who, 3, has said Weezer's Blue album. Now let's search up Weezer's Blue album. Now I may be a bit biased here because I have a lot of fond memories with this album, growing up, being a teenager, loving this album, all of its songs. And everyone knows the songs like Buddy Holly, Say It Ain't So. But I mean, do people know about Holiday and Only in Dreams? I think people only know the hits from this album. I mean, my favourite Weezer song ever is the Sweater song. So personally, I would say yes, it's a 10 out of 10. But to the average person, do they know there's a song called The World Has Turned and Left Me Here? Probably not, so I'm going to give it a try it again. Another loyal channel viewer of mine has said Drones by Muse. Now, that's a bit of a curveball, because normally people would say Black Holes and Revelations instead of Drones. But we're going to have a look at Drones here, have a little listen, and just see what the general vibes are. Okay, so I listened to a little bit of Drones. I didn't listen to the whole thing because I don't have about 10 hours free to listen to all of these albums. I would say it's okay though. It came out in 2015, and as rock goes, rock music never really came out that much in 2015. There was many pop coming out at the time. But would I say it's a 10 out of 10 album? I wouldn't even say it's their best or second best album. I would definitely say Black Holes and Revelations is their first best, Absolution is their second best. They took a long hiatus, about 10 years after these albums came out, and then they came out with Drones. I can give them respect for the fact they're making rock music in a world that's now influenced by pop music. But did I listen to all of the songs I listened to? Probably not. There was this one song on there, I can't remember what it's called now. The Psycho one. That little bass line, down, 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 and down, down. It reminded me of Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode. Let me just get it up for you. Listen to the bass. And now listen to that other song, Psycho. You could tell it was definitely influenced by Depeche Mode. But I love it when songs are very abrupt with influences, but make it their own still. But is this a 10 out of 10? No, I'm going to give it a try again. Riff Rider said In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson, one of the best prog rock albums of all time. Now, this is one of those albums that I haven't actually listened to fully. I've been meaning to get round to listening to it. I've seen it in HMV for years every time I go in there to look at albums. And I know that music critics do love to praise this album, but I mean, I've tried a couple times to get into it. I know already I'm going to give it a try again. However, I can give a lot of credit to just the first song, 21st Century Schizoid Man, and not just because it's become big on TikTok and stuff, but it's just a genuinely good, enjoyable album to listen to. I mean, the facts, I've tried listening to this a couple of times and just couldn't get into it. I know people like to talk about it's one of the greatest prog rock albums of all time. It's not my cup of tea, so I'm going to give it a try again. Kurt Cobain said Bleach by Nirvana. Now, again, this is personal bias creeping in, but I absolutely adore Bleach. I listen to it all the time when I'm in the gym or out running. It's just one of those albums that just fuels me with so much energy, but so much enjoyability as well. But I'm going to say off the bat, it is not 10 out of 10. To me, it is, but in general, it is not a 10 out of 10. There's just so many songs on here that the general listeners just wouldn't enjoy. Like, I know for a fact most people wouldn't enjoy Sifting or Mr. Moustache or Swap Me. They might think that's filler. I think it's killer, but they think it's filler. But the songs I adore the most, I adore Paper Cuts. The amount of PBs I've gotten in the gym to Paper Cuts is incredible. Obviously, About a Girl. It's a good song in and of itself. It was heavily influenced by the Beatles, and the Unplugged version is incredible. Floyd the Barber is another good, heavy song. School is another good song in general. Negative Creep is actually really enjoyable listening to. I love the drums on Sifting though, because they just go boom 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 boom. But yeah, try again. I don't think the average Nirvana fan would say this is a perfect album either, but I still love it to bits. Absolutely adore it. Mr. Explode, he has said, Is This It by The Strokes? He's also said Swimming by Mac Miller, and he has said Breach by 21 Pilots. Okay, let's just, because he's gave us a quick fire, we're going to give him a quick fire. Is This It by The Strokes? I really want to give it 10 out of 10, but I don't think all of the songs deserve a 10 out of 10. But it is their best album, so I'm going to give it somewhere in the middle. But still, try again. Swimming by Mac Miller. The man makes some good music. He absolutely makes some good music. And if you look at the amount of streams this album has, everyone can agree. Everyone can agree that Come Back to Earth is incredible. Self Care is incredible. Small World's incredible. I mean, even like throwaway songs like Conversation Part 1, people still love it. And I think this is going to have to be a 10 out of 10. Looking back on some of the albums I've rated so far, I think I might have to bump Radiohead's OK Computer to 10 out of 10. Because if that's the standard I'm living at, nothing's going to get 10 out of 10. So OK Computer, you're not going to be Try Again. You're going to be 10 out of 10. Even though I prefer Kid A. And Breach by 21 Pilots. If you said Blurry Face, I would have said 10 out of 10. I think Blurry Face by far is their best album. Some incredible songs in there. Breach, I can appreciate it, but I think because recency bias is going to influence you too on this, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I've listened to a couple of songs on here. It's not 10 out of 10. Let's try again. Blurry Face is better. Commander Doom has given us a double whammy for the Gorillaz. He has said Plastic Beach, and he's also said Demon Days. So let's look at Plastic Beach first. I think it's my favourite out of these two that he suggested. Now let's have a looky here. Immediately, 1 billion streams on Melancholy Hill. And that song deserves it, because that is an incredibly beautiful song to listen to. Rhinestone Eyes is another beautiful song. But there are some songs I just don't enjoy. I never really enjoyed Stylo. It wasn't really my thing. Empire Ants wasn't really my thing. Plastic Beach was okay though. To binge, it's okay. Overall, I think I'm going to give it a try again, but I do enjoy Plastic Beach. Now let's look at Demon Days. It's overplayed as hell, but it's still a really, really enjoyable song. Kids with Guns, that's another like well-produced song. November Has Come. The fact that he got MF Doom to do that with them is a feat. It's incredible. Dare, such a great song to dance to. I remember I used to dance to that all the time when I was a teenager. The fact they got Shaun White on it as well. I'm gonna have to give it 10 out of 10. I'm gonna have to give it 10 out of 10. The fact that everyone bought this And even though I prefer OK Computer over this, but I gave OK Computer a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. H Extremer has said The Ace of Spades by Motörhead. Now, I think we can all agree that Motörhead are one of the most influential metal bands to ever exist. Now, I remember the first time I fully listened to this album in its entirety. I was in school, I was in the chapel, I was studying, and for some reason I listened to this album while studying. I was in a massive Motörhead mood back then when I was younger. Obviously, everyone knows The Ace of Spades. I like Shoot You in the Back. I don't know why people don't really listen to it. You can see it here. But I enjoyed Shoot in the Back. Overkill isn't on the album, but obviously that's a good song that people know. Would I recommend this to someone to listen to? Only if they was into metal. If they weren't into metal, I wouldn't recommend this. So for that, I would give it a try again. However, I did enjoy it when I listened to it, and I would listen to it again myself. Six Strings and a Voice has said Grace by Jeff Buckley. Every song on there is a masterpiece in its own right. My gut is telling me straight away, 10 out of 10. I'm not the biggest Jeff Buckley fan. I'm sad that he died because he had a really great voice on him. But just looking at Grace in and of itself, I've never been the biggest fan of Hallelujah, but I can appreciate why it's so good. Lover, You Should Have Come Over, so heartbreaking. Forget is so heartbreaking. Grace and Mojo Pin are good songs as well. So Real was another good song. I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10, definitely. I think being one of the greatest voices of the 90s, vocally and lyrically, Jeff Buckley was so smart and creative, and it's such a shame that we lost him so early. You know, he drowned basically. Do you know the story about Jeff Buckley? He was touring, and he went to swim in this little river, and a boat went past, and like the currents kind of brought him under, and he drowned, and he was found upstream a couple days later. But yeah, rest in peace. But I'm gonna have to give this 10 out of 10. It was such a beautiful album to listen to, back to front. Blue Toy Gun, he has said Pop Food by Jack Stauber. I remember the first time listening to this album, I was actually driving. So I may not have hadn't given it my full attention. But would I say it was a 10 out of 10? From what I was listening to, I wouldn't say it was. It's definitely got one sound, and he stuck with that one sound. I think if he ventured out just a tiny bit more, there was more room to play with this album. I really like the sound of it though. I do like the sound. I just wish he kind of explored it more rather than... It sounds like one song, but 11 times. Like the exact same song over and over again. So it is passable, but try again. Trying to remember Brianna, she has said Long Gone Before Daylight by the Cardigans. So I have listened to a few songs off of this album, like For What It's Worth, Lead Me Into the Night, You're the Storm, Communication. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, Brianna. I know you adore the Cardigans, and thank you for being a channel member. But no, I think if you said Gran Turismo by the Cardigans, though, I think I would have given you the 10 out of 10. Even if you said the first Band on the Moon by the Cardigans, I would have given you a 10 out of 10. Stylistically, those two albums were better. Even Emmerdale, their debut album, I would have given that to you. Because, I mean, if you look at Gran Turismo, they've got My Favourite Game, No Ways and Rewind. I love those songs, it's so fun. But even First Band on the Moon, they've got Love Full Step on Me. Those big songs by them. If you said either of them, I would have given you a 10 out of 10. But for saying Long Gone Before Daylight, I'm going to have to give you a try again. So Katie has started talking about how Queen is overrated, but then she said Definitely Maybe by Oasis. Now I think Oasis is his first albums. The first two albums, Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory. I think they are perfectly crafted. Let me just spell this. How do you spell Definitely Maybe? I'm pretty sure it's Definitely Maybe, which was their first one. I think 100% give it a 10 out of 10. So if you have to remember, during 1994 when this came out, Britpop was at its hiatus. You had so many Britpop bands, but they all had a similar sound. When Oasis came out, you could tell it was Britpop, but they were their own unique sound. You could listen to any Oasis song and tell straight away that it's Oasis. You can hear the influences from the Beatles. You can hear these distortions which you don't hear in other Britpop songs. I mean, just look at the songs on this album. You've got Rock and Roll Star, you've got Live Forever, you've got Up in the Sky, Columbia, Supersonic, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Slide Away, Married with Children, which is my favourite song off of this album. Perfect closing song as well. And again, Oasis was one of those bands which was so influential on other artists, including myself. Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher, they hate each other so much, but they work together so well. This album, 10 out of 10. And I'm also going to give What's the Story, Morning Glory 10 out of 10 as well. Okay, so that was from the video. I do try and prioritise comments from the videos, but this is the community posts now. So I'm just going to do some quick fire and see where it goes. Atomic Starbat, he has said here, the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust. Now that is an interesting one, because David Bowie is so different depending on what album you listen to, which I love about him. Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust is, I know it's one of those albums that people do say is like one of the greatest albums of all time. It's not my favourite Bowie album. My favourite Bowie album is Low. But Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, oh my god, you've got so many good songs on here. You've got Starman, you've got Moonage Daydream, you've got Ziggy Stardust, you've got Lady Stardust, you've got Star. Yeah, it's talking a lot about stars and stuff. The fact that this was so different to everything that came out in the 70s, I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10 straight away. Okay, quite a few people have said Are We There Yet by James Marriott. I'm not going to listen to it just because I'm not a fan of James Marriott. I was a fan of his work on YouTube when he used to do videos with Willem, but I've never been a fan of his music in and of itself. No shade to the guy, it's just not my thing. Ghostly 3, Dirt by Alice in Chains. Straight away I'm saying 10 out of 10. And not just because I love it so much. I think the topics it covers, the sound of it, just the pure energy it brings. Like Down in a Hole was talking about depression. Rooster was talking about, like, I think he had a family member that was in the Vietnam War or something. He's talking about his experiences and that, and like his nickname was Rooster. Junkhead is my favourite song off of this album. It is about addiction and stuff, but it's so pure, it's so emotional, it's so vulnerable. Godsmack, great, powerful riffs in that one. Everyone knows Wood. Angry Chairs, I love their live performance of it. They've got their hair down and they're just like that. Sitting on the angry chair. Yes, I'm not singing it, but yeah, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 just because of how honest it is and emotional and vulnerable it is. It is one of the greatest grunge albums of all time. Will Wood and the Tapeworm, Selfish. I'm not going to give it to you, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give it a try again. The reason is, Will Wood has one specific sound. But Will Wood has one specific sound, and if that's what you enjoy, I'm not going to give you any issue for it. I mean, it's just never been my thing. It has never been my thing. But he has a massive fan base, and a lot of my subscribers are fans of his. So if you want to enjoy this album, you go ahead. It's just, Will Wood has never been my thing, so I can't get around to listening to this. All Killer, No Filler by Sum 41. I have this on CD. Younger me would have said 10 out of 10. Now is it a 10 out of 10? I still think... this is a tough one. I really do like this album. Personally, I do like it, but I'm going to have to give it a try again. Okay, I'm going to end the video here because it's getting a bit long now. Thank you to everyone who commented though. I have read through most of them. Well, I've tried to anyway. But yeah, thank you for commenting. And my question for the next video, it is, what song do you want played at your funeral? You can only choose one song this time, don't give me like 20 please. Yeah, one song, I'm going to listen to it, I might give it another little weird ranking system, and yeah, one song. Thank you for watching. If you're new around here, please do subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you do want to see more content like this. And yeah, have fun people. Take care.